Okay, hi, thank you, James. Hello, everyone. So it's great to see all the participants. Hopefully we'll give you some comfort in knowing you too can implement eScribe, learning from our own experience. Next slide. Oh, James, can I? Oh, you got it? Okay, thanks. So again, my name is Joanne and I'm the clerk for the Township of Cramahe. I've worked in the clerk's office since 2008 in both rural and urban municipalities, upper and lower tiers. Cramahe is one of those small municipalities located in Northumberland County and is home to the Big Apple. As a clerk in a smaller municipality, we're responsible for everything that no other department wants to do and wants to deal with, and we're expected to have the answer for everything and the time for everything. So my experience with implementing an agenda management system while managing the various divisions and departments is one of the reasons why I have found eScribe to be very helpful in managing my time. So with that, I'm happy to share the experience that I have had over the last few years implementing and using eScribe. Next slide. So what are your challenges? Where do we even start with that? If you're like me, you often find yourself working in a municipal building that may or may not have been a former public works garage with little to no staff, terrible internet, and no time. And I know that Jamie, you know what I'm talking about. For the larger municipalities, you face different challenges, but the principles are the same, and we all want to streamline our processes, save time, and get those agendas out. Each of us will no doubt raise doubt and raise concerns in making the change while managing our workloads. As much as our concerns were the same, where are we going to find the time? How long will the implementation take? And how much will this cost? In my experience, I've been at municipalities where we just don't have the staff time to implement such a project, and most importantly, we lack the IT resources. So what I wanted for our clerk's office was to implement a system that is user-friendly for the public, staff, and for council. I want to ensure that we had a way to track reports during its entire life cycle, maintain the integrity of our report writing, manage our workflows, as well as our follow-up. In the past, we were creating reports in Word, emailing them, and losing track of changes. It was becoming increasingly difficult to manage the integrity of our reports, even with our existing software. We also want to maximize the use of report and agenda templates for all of our council, committee, board meetings, and staff meetings. So typically, it took us about 5 to 7 hours on an agenda day, collecting reports, attaching them to the agenda, manually typing out the resolutions, formatting, ensuring the PDF was accessible, and so on. And as we all know, on an agenda prep day, we as clerks cannot and will not commit to any of our time to anything but agendas. So if this isn't a priority, how will my municipality pay for this? If you're already using an agenda management system, I really encourage you to get a quote and a demo to compare the services. Look at what you're using, what's being offered, and what has been included in an agreement. Do you even have the infrastructure to support the features that you want added? Consider how much staff time is dedicated to your agenda processes and where you can save. For Cramahe, we felt that we could do better. So I prepared a report to council using a lean management approach, comparing the two products, the time invested in each step, and the usability of the programs. We found that there was huge staff savings that warranted a change. Our agenda preparations went from a full day to an hour. But again, how are we going to pay for this? Look at your modernization grant, because this is what the funds are to be used for, being able to modernize your existing processes. You need to also look at how can you not invest in a program that will save you time and money and have such a positive impact on staff with regards to workflow management and report writing. Think about those cost savings, whether you're switching or trying to get buy-in to implement a new process. If you need reports for a framework for council, just let James know and he can send out some of the reports that I've prepared, as well as user feedback surveys. With regards to COVID impact, as we're all working from home and within our remote offices, we may not always have access to our shared drives. For me, I live 2 hours away from my office and I rely on eScribe because it's difficult to work on agendas and reports when you don't have everything at your fingertips. eScribe has helped us tremendously in being able to prepare and share reports online through the portal instead of emailing back and forth Word versions. And I know that many of us have suffered from uploading the wrong report to an agenda. The system also allows 2 or 3 people to work on a report at once so that you can work in collaboration with your other report authors. Additionally, the vote feature is a lifesaver. When you have the eScribe Pro app, you have online voting for members of council and committees, which means you can vote real time if you're sharing your screen through an online platform, which increases transparency in the decision-making process. With the post-COVID impact, just keep going. Look at how the system can integrate with live streaming. Workflow management will continue, using the task module will continue, and the online voting will continue to help with accountability and transparency. And hopefully by the end of this pandemic, staff will be on track with report deadlines. Next slide, please. So what we were looking for in terms of a solution and how did eScribe help? I took a lean management approach to looking at how many steps it takes to complete our agendas, which we have on a future slide, where the principles focus on the delivery of value from the public's perspective, eliminating waste and redundancy and continuous improvement. Minutes and agendas were redundant, causing an increase in staff time dedicated to the agenda process. It was extremely time-consuming, from report preparation to the approval process through email or hard copy to the clerk and CAO. We wanted to have a system where we could approve reports from anywhere and at any time, while maintaining version control and our report's integrity. We wanted an automated process, since our existing processes left us room for human error with various versions of a document being sent back and forth. And being able to manage our report deadlines and late approvals was critical for us in managing our agendas and making sure they got out on time. We wanted to have our agendas, minutes, and website better info mapped as well, making it easier for agendas and minutes to be found a lot more easier from the public, because we all know there's always going to be complaints from the public. Our procurement process was simple, and as long as I received 3 quotes, I was able to make that switch seamlessly. For those who may not have authority, just double check with your finance department to see if you just need 3 quotes. If you need to go to council again, feel free to use some of the resources I've prepared that outline the time and cost savings. For us, we did do our homework and compared the various systems out there and what each offered, the infrastructure that was required, and the time commitment in order to implement. Additionally, the importance of making our agendas and minutes fully accessible was extremely important. Having implemented eScribe twice now, I would say you're dedicating about 2 to 3 hours a week for 4 weeks to get it completed with 1 dedicated staff person. I have implemented workflow management and agenda management system myself in 2.5 weeks back in 2018. And most recently, my deputy clerk and I completed this transition in 6 weeks during COVID and at home. On average, we save about $2,200 per year and a full day of agenda preparation time. In the end, we went from 5 to 7 hour agenda prep to 1 hour publishing time. Next slide. The efficiencies we gained were tremendous. We saved time as eScribe allows for single source publishing, and our information is entered only once into the report template and used again in the agendas and the minutes. When we looked at eScribe, they already had what we needed, and all of those items were costly additions to other services. We were able to develop minutes from the agenda, publishing accessible formats, information mapping for ease of use of agendas and minutes on the Township website, and the ability to participate and vote electronically. We implemented workflow management for our reports, and that has been extremely helpful as we're able to manage report approvals and timelines. We can change who needs to approve what report on an as-needed basis too, which is important when we have some additional staff there to provide input. eScribe also provides counselors with secure access to meetings through their devices, where they can view agendas, make notes, vote electronically through the app, etc. Additionally, with the changes made to the Planning Act, eScribe provides time-stamped information on public planning meetings, which is a good bonus. So our most loved features, we have a lot of things that we love about eScribe. But first, I'll tell the story of why we started looking into the change, and I know many were in the same boat at the time and facing similar frustrations. For us, customer service was lacking. It was a challenge. We had broken links on our website. we had costly data storage, and there was a need to add onto our agreement just to keep up with some of our concerns. So at a conference, I saw the eScribe booth, went over, talked to James, and basically asked, if you can provide us with a deal, I'll walk over to our said provider and terminate our contract. He said yes, and we never looked back. And I've done that with now 2 municipalities and brought on some other municipalities on board just because we believed in the product. The most beneficial to us was the time savings for automated processes and extraction from reports. When you set up your templates with your project managers, you can build your templates to suit every committee and council meeting. Your resolutions are pulled directly from those reports and attach them to the agenda, takes seconds. You can include standard wording for common resolutions and motions, which has saved us a ton of time. Secondly, I have used the Vote Manager module, which also allows for electronic voting, showing each councillor how they voted, which is shown on public displays, which is also more transparent. Reports are easily generated on voting records as well. And lastly is the customer service. The customer service and support have been fantastic. We get responses within the hour. Everyone from the 2 James, Tosca, Joel, Patrick, George, etc. I have no doubt that every other member of their team are as dedicated as these individuals. The support is unmatched anywhere. They walk you through each step of the process and make sure that you're ready to move to the next stage when you're comfortable. Next slide, please. So here's a comparison. The benefit of eScribe and the use of workflow management for report writers is the version control for reports and an audit trail of what was changed, by whom and when, protecting the integrity of the report. So again, here's a comparison of the steps between the two systems, that lean management approach I was talking about, and the return on investment and reducing redundancy. So again, my reports to council go into a bit more detail if you need some of that detail to help with selling it to your councils. And for those who currently are not using an agenda system, you can see how simple it is to go through the steps. The time savings, again, was invaluable. Next slide, please. Some of the takeaways and advice. Don't be afraid of the implementation process. The size of your municipality should not deter you from making the move to an agenda management system. Look at the time you will save by automating your processes. Compare what you're doing now to what you could be doing. You don't need to have any expertise in IT to implement and use that system. The more templates you create at the beginning will make it easier for you down the road. You don't need a lot of staff time to implement. You need templates to provide to eScribe staff. You need to create a list of who approves what reports, and you need to create lists of who needs access to what reports. These are both processes you should all already have. Understand your needs and determine your priorities. Do you want to have your members participate electronically and vote electronically? Will you find it helpful to have workflow management and version controls in your reports? Will creating an action list and track your tasks help you post-meeting? Do you need your agendas to be more accessible and integrate with your existing website? If you're live streaming or recording your meetings, will a system help you to be more transparent in your decision-making process? And again, don't be afraid of implementing a new system, even during this time of uncertainty. eScribe has a number of workshops that they will set you up with to go through step by step with what you need. Take advantage of your project manager and develop the templates and processes that will work best for your municipality. As a small municipality and having implemented eScribe twice, the first time it took me 2.5 weeks. The second time at Cramahe, it took us 6 weeks with me and my deputy clerk Holly in the midst of COVID. If you're already using templates for agendas and reports, the implementation process will be simple. eScribe staff are there to set up the first few for you, and creating new meeting templates, etc., will be easy. And again, make sure you connect with your colleagues. The eScribe user community is wonderful and support staff is always there to help. So again, to wrap it up, by using eScribe, we have saved so much time in our agenda process. Don't be afraid to make the change. Be the change champion that your council needs to implement a better process. So that's it for me. If anyone needs any resources, like I've said, the reports that we've used or the survey results from our year follow-up, please let James know.